Have you ever heard of the Lawson family? In December 1929, just as the Christmas spirit was meant to be filling their home in rural North Carolina, something went terribly wrong. This isn't just a story about a crime, it's a chilling look into a mystery that has puzzled people for nearly a century. What could drive a seemingly ordinary family man to commit an act so devastating that it would echo through generations? The story begins with Charlie Lawson, a tobacco farmer, his wife Fanny, and their 7 children. They weren't wealthy, but they were a hardworking family, known in their community. Neighbors saw them as quiet, maybe a little reserved. But nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Just weeks before Christmas, Charlie took his family into town for a special treat. He bought them all brand new clothes and had a family portrait taken, an unusual expense for a farmer at the time. To anyone looking in, it seemed like a happy, festive occasion. A proud father capturing a memory with his beloved family. But was this a celebration? Or something far more sinister? Was this a final farewell? On the afternoon of December 25, 1929, a day that should have been filled with joy and laughter, unspeakable tragedy struck. Reports from that day paint a horrifying picture. Charlie Lawson, for reasons that are still debated, allegedly waited for his 2 middle daughters, Carrie and Mabel, as they were heading to their aunt and uncle's house. What followed was a brutal and systematic attack. After this initial act, he returned to the family home. Inside, his wife Fanny, his daughter Marie, and his 2 young sons, James and Raymond, were caught completely unaware. The festive cheer of Christmas morning turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. The only survivor was the eldest son, 16-year-old Arthur, who had been sent on an errand by his father earlier that day. When he returned, he discovered a nightmare. The final, and perhaps most haunting, part of the tragedy was Charlie Lawson himself. After destroying his family, he went out into the nearby woods. The sound that followed was the last one, sealing the fate of the Lawson family. He took his own life, leaving behind a massacre and 1,000 unanswered questions. The immediate aftermath was chaos and disbelief. The community was in shock. How could the man they knew, the quiet farmer, be capable of such an act? The brand new clothes from the family portrait became their burial shrouds. The photograph itself became an iconic, haunting image of the tragedy, a smiling family on the brink of oblivion. The Lawson home, instead of being torn down, was turned into a dark tourist attraction. People flocked to see the place where the horror unfolded, with a cake baked by Marie on Christmas morning still sitting on the table, a chilling relic of a life cut short. This morbid curiosity fueled the legend, but it did little to provide real answers. Why did he do it? This is the question that has haunted this case for almost 100 years. Over the years, theories have swirled, trying to make sense of the senseless. The first and most common theory was financial desperation. The Great Depression was beginning to take hold, and perhaps Charlie, facing ruin, saw this as some kind of twisted escape. But records show he wasn't in significant debt. In fact, he was a relatively successful farmer for the time. So, if it wasn't money, what was it? Another theory suggested a hidden medical issue. Some speculated that Charlie had suffered a severe head injury months prior and that it might have altered his personality, leading to a psychotic break. In an era with limited understanding of brain injuries and mental health, it's a plausible idea. He had reportedly been complaining of headaches and acting erratically in the weeks leading up to the event. Could a physical ailment have been the trigger for this monstrous act? But there is a darker, more disturbing theory that has gained traction over the decades, a theory that casts the story in an even more tragic light. Whispers began to circulate, whispers of a terrible secret within the Lawson home. This theory points to a possible inappropriate relationship between Charlie and his eldest daughter, Marie, evidence for this is largely circumstantial. Based on hushed rumors from family and neighbors after the fact, some authors and researchers claim that Fanny, and possibly even Charlie's son Arthur, had discovered this secret. The theory suggests that Murray may have been pregnant, and that Charlie, facing exposure and ruin of a different kind, chose to silence his entire family rather than face the consequences. This would reframe the entire narrative. The Christmas portrait wasn't a celebration. It was a final, desperate act to preserve a facade of normalcy before destroying the evidence of his dark secret. It's a deeply unsettling possibility, and one that is impossible to prove definitively so many years later. So, what are we left with? We have a man, Charlie Lawson, who seemed like a normal father. We have a family portrait, a symbol of either love or deceit. And we have a Christmas Day massacre that defies easy explanation. Was it a financial crisis? A medical emergency? Or was it the violent explosion of a man desperate to hide an unforgivable secret? Each theory has its supporters, but none can be proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. The bodies were exhumed in the 1990s for DNA testing, but the results were inconclusive, leaving the most disturbing questions unanswered. The truth, it seems, was buried with Charlie Lawson in the woods that day. The Lawson family tragedy serves as a chilling reminder that the darkest secrets can often hide behind the most ordinary of faces. It is a story that forces us to look at the complexities of human nature and the devastating consequences when things go wrong. While we may never know for certain what happened in that North Carolina farmhouse on Christmas Day, the story of the Lawsons remains a powerful and haunting tale in the annals of true crime. It's a stark lesson that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are not strangers lurking in the shadows, but the people we think we know best. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this deeply unsettling case. It is stories like these that remind us to be compassionate and aware of the struggles others might be facing in silence. If you found this story compelling, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into historical mysteries. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.